Ebusia for about 75% of Accra are flooded. And say, Mirror crowd. By now, obiti fia nini pa yera. Chese nsuo na twetwe ansa na wahu de aye nipa no cause friend no kra enko ECG power akate because some of one of their substations are flooded omudi agro so power p eja anhwe kra call electrocute inko for electrocute people anhwe no mako wache Ghana ban enti nsem na ekoso no President John Dramani Mahama na helicopter echo around ko inspect Accra baby affected a flood na affecting na and the president was sad. Seeing pa say wo hwe obi dem ne me wo ho na chese nsuo ni na twe pie baby ba kwa me hu say wa flood throughout this whole flooding cases I recorded bank me bank for a pepama a drew flood crown pa yes answer recorded say omo de omo home flood nti sike bia mba abontin why. But they say I arahosem na to Ghana no and President John Dramani Mahama akasa nensema wakeka ECG for so the communicate bia babonti because as a now among for ni light too because in the area flooded and ye ndundum lights na mbetiane say this is FMS Trends, and here we give you the latest updates on issues. My name is Maureen Michelle, and you can call me the Information Minister. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let's start with President John Dramani Mahama. And then after so call round in a helicopter co-inspecting areas now flooded. Mahama echo around and man kasamoshe wa co-inspecting flood areas, no areas that have been affected by the flood. No shading or sidebi. We need to rethink our urban planning. Yes, we need to rethink our urban planning as a country. Let's say urban planning, no engineering, ye chicha gutters, mechanism, ye constructed gutters. Any other didn't was say or more planning no motion ye. I feel crampo dear. ABC almost suggested yenny capital new free Accra. And I see yen decentralize ministries no in Accra, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, near the Coho, near the Ministry of Energy, ye the Nico Sunyane, what I say. Said the Baya Bibiano enquire Accra. So President John Dramani Mahama has announced plans for a new administrative city outside Accra. A new administrative city outside Accra. Nature say, ye be ye nyama be when it comes to the administration of this country from Accra. Bachale, Kumase for Yempe. What the Bahanum say, we know that we are going to face similar problems because Nipa na umatwe free various regions, cities, baby no ma Accra no. Mo de ba Kumase a omu na beso to abaha Yempe. Why? Mumfanko different region. We don't like it. Na ena flooding issue ne cause no there was flood in Accra amanfo sunya diade one of ECG substations flooding na flooding you know and some I cover by and my lights in crampo ye echo off na ECG for the communicate bia ba say nsuo no call from no munim de ombe.
All the most important critical infrastructure is fed from this substation. This one supplies most of the critical loads we have in Accra. 37 UGMC, University of Ghana itself, the Jubilee House, Bamakam. But this morning, as the rain came down, we realized that you can see the whole compound here was flooded. And we have a basement here. Our cables that supply customers come from underground, from below, into the switchgear. And the basement was flooded. It was not safe any longer to supply power. So we had to take the power from the grid side so that water does not get into the switchgear. If our water gets in there, all the places that are supplied from here will be at risk because anyone could be electrocuted. In fact, we needed to protect life. And that was why we took it off. We also needed to protect the property here. If we allow the water to get to the switchgear, the equipment itself, it will take us days to restore. And a lot of money will have been lost. Right now we have monitored, the water level has gone down. We are preparing to restore supply here. Now, this was not the only place we took power out. We also have another BSP at Malam, the second that we built in Accra, Malam. We had to take that one out because again, the whole substation was flooded this morning. Right now, we are working with Gridco to restore power supply there, and after that, we will work to restore supply here too. But the cloud is still out, so we are not sure how long we will be keeping the power on. We'll be monitoring the situation, and if we think that life is at risk, we will have to take action again. So we would like our customers to bear with us. It's a precautionary measure, and it's necessary so that we can keep the light on. Right now, the rain has subsided, so we are comfortable that we can restore supply. When the light comes on from Gridco, we will not put everybody on. So we will put the high grounds on first, and we will monitor the low grounds to be sure that it is safe before we restore power to them. If the rain comes again and the substation is threatened, again, we will have to take that necessary precautionary measure. Otherwise, we may not be protecting life, and we may not be doing the right thing. The flooding at the substation, it is not ECG's problem per se, because the drains are choked. There's a huge drain just behind the substation. So when these drains are choked, water cannot drain into them. But here, the substation, everything is okay. Is getting into the storm drains, and the storm drains getting flooded. That's what causes the flooding over here. So we will have to work with NANMO and the city authorities to ensure that next time we don't experience this. In fact, the flooding is a national conversation we must have beyond ECG and Gridco. Right now, we have a problem here, and we must deal with it immediately.
So that was Kwame Pekpena. Yes, Kwame Pekpena, who is the acting managing director of ECG, which is the electricity company of Ghana. Now, Nasema Wakani Nane say, it's all men will say, so not stop a flood and a beach to train kakra. And to say, Omo Baba be restore power. Say me catch him say one of the substations of ECG flooded. And so need to train to Baba restore power. But say power now mobile restore no. They will start from higher grounds. Okay, into baby I say omo level no was stroke kakra. Omo ni valley. I don't even know how I'm going to describe this. Omo share a forms are like they are not in a lowland. Let me put it that way. They are not in a lowland, you know. They will start from those people and son on but lowland for no crampono. They will conduct a research. Ombeko around who say oh ade okay and sana o ma restore pa nyesa amanfo benya asem ayede ahye mo Lendra President John Dramani Mahama posti ade bi on a Twitter page. Okay, na ne Twitter page ade o posti ye no eya reho but untimi nya ho hwe. It's a natural disaster enti say na ade we na President John Dramani Mahama troto ne Twitter page X page. The amount of rainfall recorded today is among the highest experienced in several years. Preliminary data indicates that approximately 140 millimeters of rain fell on Accra. Okay, by comparison, the highest single-day rainfall recorded last year was about 56 millimeters. Let's just say 56 millimeters. Hey, Jesus. That was last year, and this year in a single day is 140 millimeters. Let's just say, hey, I don't know cost power. That aspect of the problem is beyond our control because it is driven by changing climatic conditions. There is the issue of human behavior. Yes, nature say we have, climate issues, climatic conditions near the day, and so better heavily and all that. But we have to prepare into say human behavior and so come home. Unu munsio na wo de ato form. Nature say inframa bonnet de akoto gata ni na gata na aye choked. So he also said this at the last part of whatever he wrote on his X page. Whenever government begins removing structures built in waterways, some people accuse us of being inhuman. Yet when disasters of such as today's flooding occur, the consequences affect everyone. The irresponsible actions of a few individuals end up putting an entire community or entire communities at risk. Next is a President John Dramani Mahama. Apart from climate conditions near the human behaviors and so can obi akosi dan esi kwam ekwam na wakosi na nya se bia wasi kwan a nipa fa ho wasi kwan a nsuo fa ho no wari ase but nadmo ne sankofo no other agencies ne ba na so mo yeso mo bubu ade ne free structure ne free said e be ya nsuo to nsuo ne benya kwan a they accuse them for being inhuman. They tell them that I say omunya badaye to the extent that some of them threaten them that they are not going to vote for them again. They'll vote them out of power and all that. Meanwhile, since you ta affect you obia enye nipa ba ko na be affect no affect a lot of people in the community, that's what President John Dramani Mahama wrote on his X page. Now okasa asem ni wie the spokesperson for the Ministry of Energy so abekansen bi this is what chiremu a because of ECG almost substations na a flooding and untino ama ye dundum light or baby bebra till now omunya light no I be more pressure monso light no or some munya botre yen ni sisi ententem.
It will cause inconvenience to people, and so we apologize for that. But the most important point at this time will be to ensure that public safety, that's our highest priority. And so the engineers have been going around, they've been doing inspections, they've been checking on the equipment to ensure that as and when it's safe and sound, you have power being restored. And so some areas that originally had their power off have currently had the restoration of power. Others are still going through the process. Restoration normally will not be immediate. It won't be one of that you turn on the switch for everywhere to come on. Because first you must ensure that even the flood waters have receded. You have to ensure that the equipment are thoroughly inspected. You have to ensure that the areas you don't have any broken poles, you don't have any cables lying on the floor. Because if you have cables of that nature, high tension cables on the floor, and then you end up with on the lights because of the rains and the water, you may end up causing some disaster. And so these checks are being done as we speak. They're being done thoroughly, area by area, to ensure that once these checks are completed, we'll restore power to these areas. And so we urge the general public to exercise patience. We know it's a challenging period, but we want to assure everyone that the process is ongoing. And as soon as it's safe, the engineers give us clearance that the area is safe, definitely power will be restored, as has been done in certain areas.
Aside safeguarding the transformers, for which reason there's this temporary shutdown, was any installation or facility impacted or affected by the flooding today?
Yes, the Malam substation as well as Achimota substation. Earlier we shared videos of Achimota substation and what the flooding situation has been. And so they were impacted. What it means is that we'll have to ensure that the water recedes. You have to ensure that there's a thorough check of these facilities before you can energize them. Energizing them means we can bring them back to power. And so, yes, we've had some of these areas being impacted. Even on your channel, I saw that you had reported that part of our northern markets had experienced some fires.
Indeed.
In situations like that, definitely can't also put on the power. You have to ensure that the fire service comes in, they stop the fire, you check the extent of damage before any restoration can be done. And so yes, it had significant strain on our infrastructure, but the engineers are working tirelessly, area by area, substation by substation, to ensure that it is safe and sound. And so please bear with us, it's for our own safety. We do not want to record any hazard or any disaster as a result of our haste in trying to restore power to these areas. And so please bear with us while we go through the process.
So Richmond Roxton, who is the spokesperson for the Ministry of Energy, saying that air power restoration is not going to be immediate. Say be a part now be a lighter, but there be a gradual process. Omo examine one say yes, so light in cause the problem. No so like kakan yes say be a beso no boom amobia. Na the member of parliament for Clote Kono. I don't know how I'm going to pronounce it in kind for no mumbo in the comment section. Na gentle onye gentleman impo. Honorable Zenato Rollins. And also so the constituency share at the she was visiting the victims of the flood. Now I'll call Honor Ebisa and say, a day no dream for the Akosuni now.
It will cause inconvenience to people, and so we apologize for that. But the most important point at this time will be to ensure that public safety. That's our highest priority. And so the engineers have been going around, they've been doing inspection, they've been checking on the equipment to ensure that as and when it's safe and sound, you will have power being restored. And so some areas that originally had their power off have currently had the restoration of power. Others are still going through the process. Restoration normally will not be immediate. It won't be one off that you turn on the switch for everywhere to come on. Because first you must ensure that even the flood waters have receded. You have to ensure that the equipment are thoroughly inspected. You have to ensure that the areas you don't have any broken poles, you don't have any cables lying on the floor. Because if you have cables of that nature, high tension cables on the floor, and then you end up with on the lights, because of the rains and the water, you may end up causing some disaster. And so these checks are being done as we speak. They're being done thoroughly, area by area, to ensure that once these checks are completed, we'll restore power to these areas. And so we urge the general public to exercise.
Home, stay home. If you are in a low-lying area, find a place that's elevated. And that's really the best we can do, because the situation has just gotten out of hand. We're still waiting to get the rescue boats for the security services to be able to evacuate people from their homes. There are people who are trapped, and we're limited with the equipment that they have. We just brought a rope and some extra life jackets to give, but it's not enough. It's not enough. I think we need to get past the point of being reactive. We need to be preemptive. The resources need to be given to the necessary agencies so they can be prepared.
What about the fire incidents? How are they able to?
The fire is still burning. It's happening in the plastics market, and unfortunately, the plastics are fuel for the fire. So we're basically trapped here in the sense that we are unable to do much about what's going on there. And the women are devastated because after this is all over, they have their lives to go back to, and they have nothing to go back to at the end of this disaster. It's just this is terrible.
Zenato Rollins, who some of the members of parliament around, even so who no action. If you see they're even suffering to see their own MPs or mamu flood way on a bear expose your mom no more money. This is FMS Trends. I hope you enjoyed the updates. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you.